Welcome to the program. I'm Edward St. Pé. This is Nightique on JSU TV, Comcast 14. We are very appreciative that you've joined us for tonight's show. Well, if you think back to the beginning of filmmaking in Jackson, one of the very first films filmed in Mississippi and in the Jackson area in particular was a film called The Premonition. And this was a film that was directed by Robert Schnizer, a very young filmmaker at the time, who thought Jackson would be a great place to shoot his film. Well, the film was shot here and it went on to commercial success and also great reviews. Even the New York Times gave it a great review. Well, last year at the Mississippi International Film Festival, which is coming up again November 8th at Tinseltown this year in Pearl, last year's festival featured a screening of this film that was shot in Jackson back in the 1970s, The Premonition. And Robert Schnizer came from Los Angeles to speak to us and basically screen his film. Well, since then, he's had more involvement in the Jackson area, and he's working on a media project that is to be based out of Jackson. And he is sort of a resident of Jackson now, working on this project. So we're going to talk to Robert Schnizer about what he's up to. And we did this interview a few weeks ago as we were preparing to start the show. So you're going to meet Robert Schnizer face-to-face tonight on Nightique. Also on the show, we've got an interview with David Creel. He's probably one of the style makers in Jackson that you remember through the years. He's a columnist for the Clarion Ledger. He's a man about town and a friend of mine, and we're going to talk to David about style in general. So we've got two interviews for you coming up. And we want to thank you for being with us. Stay tuned. Now here comes a promotion for this year's Mississippi International Film Festival, which I mentioned is going to be November 8th at Tinseltown in Pearl. It's our first year in Pearl at Tinseltown. And this year, a very special guest is coming to town, Mr. Lance Bass, our native Mississippian who's got international acclaim through the years because of his vocal prowess in sync. Now he's making films, and he has a film called Mississippi I Am, which we will be screening at the film festival in Pearl at Tinseltown on November 8th. We want to invite everybody to come and meet Lance. He'll be there with us that evening to screen his film and take questions from the audience regarding that film. Now, this message, and back with the interviews. Well, we remember back in the dawn of the age of filmmaking, in 1975, things were starting to happen in Jackson, around Mississippi. The very first Hollywood production to come in, one of the very first, if not the first, in 1975 was a film called The Premonition that filmed here, produced and directed by Mr. Robert Schnizer from New York. And we've got Mr. Robert Schnizer on the set with us. Robert, thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Edward. Great to be here.
So you brought a Hollywood production and all of the apparatus to. How in the world did you discover Jackson back at that time?
Well, Jackson had a film commission. It was just getting off the ground, and they had heard that we were looking for locations to shoot this film. And I don't remember if they approached us, but we certainly went to the Mississippi Film Commission, and they offered certain perks, use of the fire department to create rain, I remember that, and we decided, why not? It was more of a why not. The story took place in a fictional small town, so it could be shot anywhere, and it was a psychological thriller, and came out. We had the world premiere in Fondren, and played around the world.
At the theater there?
Yes.
Like the Capri?
Yes.
At the Capri?
Yes, so that was my second trip to Jackson.
For the premiere?
Yes, yes. And
well, you know, we met because I found out about the film from Ward Ameling as the first film, and I called you in California and invited you to come speak at the Mississippi International Film Festival.
Right.
And you came, and that's how we met and became friends. And so, now, what was your experience in filming that project in 1975 in Jackson?
Yeah, it was really a wonderful experience. You know, so much depends on the people, and the people of Jackson were just terrific to work with. We hired quite a few actors, and in fact, the current governor, Phil Bryant, was an extra.
He was an extra in the premonition, that's right. Isn't that something?
In the crowd scene around the state capitol. And and the crew, we hired quite a few crew people from Jackson, although we brought several from Los Angeles and New York City. But just the people of Jackson were so friendly. And so when you called me recently to come to the film festival, I had no intention really of making this my new home, but I have, and quite a bit of that is due to the people here. Okay,
frankly. Now let's segue into your coming back for the film festival, and then tell us what you're working on now here in Mississippi.
Well, several media ventures. It's a little too early to go into great detail, but we're working on projects having to do with cable television programming, internet programming, a physical studio complex with sound stages for other productions to come to Jackson to film in, with a theme park attached. And we're considering getting involved in my previous career, which was feature film production. So sort of all the various media enterprises, and I think Jackson is ready for it, quite frankly.
Well, you know, Louisiana has made a lot of progress. It's one of the leading filming capitals in America today.
It sure is. It's number 3.
And they've got great incentives for producers to come in, but Mississippi also has great incentives.
It does. It does. The Mississippi Film Commission or Film Office under Ward Emling provides very generous incentives for producers to locate in Mississippi.
And we're seeing more productions come in now.
Yes.
We have the Get On Up here.
Right.
And there's a number of things going on right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really an exciting time.
It is, and I think there's a great future for media in Mississippi in general and Jackson in particular.
Well, Robert, you know, that film that you did, The Premonition, not only was it one of the first major films produced here, but it was a reviewed film, a critically acclaimed film for that genre. I mean,
yes, got great reviews. It's still available as a DVD on Amazon. It made money. The investors came out whole, and
which is wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very nice enterprise, and I then went on to make other feature films, Candyland with a K. Prior to that, I had done a movie with Sylvester Stallone called Rebel, and then I eventually transitioned into what I'm doing now, or focused on right now, which is television and the internet.
So you can still get Premonition on Amazon.com?
Yes, as a DVD. Yes.
Check out Jackson, Mississippi, 1975 in The Premonition.
Yes.
Robert Schnizer, thank you for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And come back again. We'll hopefully see you soon.
You sure will. Thank you.
We'll be back after this.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is hand-picked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507.
Welcome back to the show. David Creel is a writer here in town. He's done a number of columns through the years for a number of publications, writing on style and fashion, and of course, with David, beautiful by David the various salons that you had. David, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Edward. It's great to be here.
And it's great to see you. It's been a while.
I know it has. And you flatter me. All these nice words. Beautiful, David. I love that.
Well, I mean, you've got a long pedigree of being in the fashion and beauty world.
It's been a fun ride, hasn't it? And you've been there with me.
Yeah, well, we've been friends a long time.
I've had, the salons have been really fabulous. It's been a wonderful way to kind of stay connected in the Jackson area.
So, okay, all right. Let me ask you a question. You're a big guy, and to look at you, you would say, well, where's this guy, this big, strong guy, getting involved in fashion and all of the things that you've got? How did that happen?
Well, it happened, Edward, honestly, about 43 years ago. Actually, I was a young kid growing up in rural Mississippi, and I loved to follow my mom around and just kind of watch her style hair and put on makeup. And that's just where it really began. It kind of sparked in me. And you know, 40-something years later, and now I'm here. And I love styling hair and just making people, helping people find that inner beauty through makeup and hair and fashions.
Okay, all right. Well, is it all about hair, or is it about fashion, or is it about the person
I've been asked
coming from inside
I've
the person?
been asked that a lot. And
what is beautiful? What is beautiful?
Beautiful has to be a complete package. It's not just the inside or the outside. It's melding the two together. It's the external and the internal. But I help with, you know, self-confidence. We do classes and coaching, and I do a lot of things. But in order to boost your self-esteem and stay focused on what's important, I think you have to have a good balance.
What about the inside part?
The inside
what have
part.
you learned about that through the years?
Well, what I've learned a lot. I mean, how long do we have? But the main thing I've learned, Edward, is you just have to kind of be focused on what it is you want to get accomplished and set goals. And above all, just remember that there's something about you that is beautiful. It's extraordinary, and it's marvelous. And just owning that and knowing that you can first love yourself.
You think happiness has anything to do with it, being happy?
I do. You know, I come across so many different people in what I do. I write my column for the Clarion Ledger, and I'm always getting messages and emails, and my readers are reaching out to me. And they always want to know, you know, these fundamental questions. You know, I'm stuck in this particular part of my life, whether it's a bad marriage or, you know, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And a lot of young men as well, you know, different people come at me, well, what can I do to get kind of out of this rut I'm in? And so just feeling better about yourself, first of all, not giving up, so to speak. You know, finding someone that can help you to be a coach, whether it's helping you get to the gym. You know, I was talking earlier with a young lady that was on a reality show, and she really sparked a lot of interest inside me about, you know, getting back in the gym and focusing on what's important. But you have to first identify and be approachable, and I think that's what's helped me a lot. I'm not that person that you think that's standoffish. I think people continuously say to me, well, you know, I can warm up to you. I can just kind of talk to you like you're a friend. And so that's what I've done with my salons.
You think confidence,
and with the column.
Confidence, inner confidence has a lot to do with how you're perceived as far as being attractive or not?
It does. I mean, it does. And then it's like I said, it's a balance. You have to have your inner confidence, and then it feeds off the external as well. I think they go hand in hand. And I'm not the most confident person. I have insecurities as well, whatever they may be. And I grew up, you know, I was bullied in high school, and I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. So I think that's probably where it comes from, that desire to really help people find whatever it is inside them that they can, you know, cultivate and make grow and turn into something beautiful.
Well, the fall season is here, right? Okay.
The fall season,
so
yeah.
Tell us now, what's hot?
Even though it's 100 degrees outside in the south.
What is the big thing right now, fashion-wise, going into the fall?
Well, there's so many different things right now that we're seeing come into the forecast. Joe, that you'll see in a few minutes, is going to model some things in men's fashion. I just flew back from Washington, D.C., and we walked the streets of Georgetown, and what I saw that really stood out is a very, almost a nod back to the old classics, and you'll be a big fan of this because you're very, very dashing in the way you dress. Collegiate, very, I don't know, very studious looks, stripes, putting on a sport coat with a maybe pocket square that doesn't match, a little pop of color, bright socks, but definitely taking a sport coat that you would just have hanging in your closet and really make it work. Think of it in a new way, in a different way, and that's what we're going to show you with our model. We're going to take, he's wearing just a beautiful neutral tone. That's another big trend, neutrals. Sport coat over a checked pattern in his shirt, and I'm going to show you how you can take some simple things out of your own closet and kind of give it a retro spin.
You remember a few years ago when we had the dot-com explosion, and suddenly, you know, it was much more casual dress code, you know, because I guess we had an influx of young people in the business community with all the dot-com activity, and suddenly, you know, anything went. So
Anything goes.
Anything goes. And is that still the case?
I'm a rule breaker. I'm not a rule follower. I think, you know, I'm sitting here with a linen coat on, and we're moving out of summer, but I think you can take it and push the sleeves up, flip the collar up, which I'll show you in a few minutes when I stand up with Joe, and just like I said, take a classic and give it a new sporty twist. So yeah, I think break the rules. I mean, wear bright socks with dark slacks, and you know, why not?
I agree. Okay, so tell us now, when we come back from the break, we're going to have a demonstration of what's happening in men's fashion.
Yeah.
Give us a little insight. What are we going to
Well, I like to think that we're going to see a lot of gentlemen channeling the old Hollywood greats, Rock Hudson, James Dean, Humphrey Bogart. We're going to show a driving cap. We're going to do a scarf, and just kind of show the pocket square and how to take just what would be a plain outfit and just turn up the notch a little bit.
You know, I was at the bookstore the other day, I guess Barnes & Noble, and you know, there was a magazine about, it was a famous photographer's portraits of the stars from, let's say, the 40s through today, you know, and you know, the classics don't change, right?
The classics, they're called classic for a reason. Because and I love that. But what we've learned to do is take the classics that come back around again and kind of give them a little tweaking, a little push forward, and keep them current.
Good. Well, we're going to learn something about fashion coming forward for the fall season. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this with David Creel.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507.
Well, we're back. David Creel, our style consultant here on Nightique, with us. Okay, David, we were talking about men's fashion, and we want to introduce our model?
Yes, this is Joe, and Joe is wearing a traditional, I would say it's very classic. It's a wonderful neutral, which is a really big trend going into fall, and he's paired it with a nice check shirt. So this is what you would order, like he could throw this on and he could go to work and be fabulous. But let's say he wants to just shake it up a little bit, make it a little more youthful. So what we're going to do is put on an old Hollywood driving cap, and we're going to just stick in a pocket square.
So the color does not necessarily have to match. It's not clashing with the
No,
striped
color it does it. You could just play with color, and I'm going to ask Joe to push his sleeves up.
Terry, can you get a tight shot of the model? Come on a little bit on.
And we're going to unbutton the coat, and you can see we're really dressing it down now, and he's getting a lot more casual. So let's say his friend called and said, let's go to the French Quarter for the weekend, or you know, let's go tailgate at Ole Miss, and this is really what's going to take him from daytime to that giving him that casual vibe. It's going to get a little cooler this fall, so just throw a scarf on, and we've shown Joe how he can take just a normal, basic look and dress it up and look extremely modern.
Very nice. So, yeah, so neutral.
Neutral
colors,
tones,
right?
because when you go with the khakis and the taupes for fall, you can really play with colors in the shirts, with the accessories, and I think he's fantastic. Very old Hollywood, a very retro style, very vintage. It's a great way to go.
Very nice. Okay, well, that's our tip for the men for this fall season, right?
Exactly. I think this will be a wonderful way to spruce up a fall wardrobe.
All right, well, thank you, David. We're going to be right back, so stay with us. We'll be back after these messages.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507.
Okay, well, now we've had some insight into men's fashion. What about, before we go, what about women's fashion as we look at the fall season?
Again, I think you're going to be seeing a lot of really easy pieces. You know, putting a cardigan with a striped crew neck T-shirt and, you know, some white tennis shoes and just big sunglasses, playing with color and scarves.
Mm-hmm.
It's still very retro, very collegiate.
What about color? I mean, bright colors or
You know, I always say just have fun with color. Of course, in a lot of the fashion magazines, we're seeing the nude blazers and tops so that you can really accentuate and punch up the color with your handbags, shoes, and accessories.
Okay, David, will you come back and be our style columnist?
Sure.
Our style
I'd love to.
columnist for television as we go forward?
It'd be fun.
Okay, good. And tell us about your practice before we go. It's
well, you know, you can find me every week, Sundays in the Clarion Ledger. My column is called Being Beautiful with David. It's where I talk about all kinds of different topics with a lot of Southern humor. You'll get to read about my mom and lipstick and hairstyle and all kinds of tips and trends. And I'm also in my salon 4 days a week, and it's Beautiful with David.
And tell us about the location.
It's right here in Ridgeland. It's behind North Park Mall. We're kind of quiet, but we like it that way. We're kind of tucked back behind there. But anyway, we're very easy to find.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Edward.
And
it
we're
was a
going to
blast.
have you back soon, okay?
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us tonight, and we're going to be back with one more segment right after this. This is Nightique.
Since 1849, Carter Jewelers has been a part of Jackson's rich history. Over 163 years later, we've not only survived, Carter Jewelers has flourished. From generation to generation, we've established a tradition of excellence. Our reputation is built on customer satisfaction, service, and trust. Every piece of jewelry is handpicked, so you know you're getting the best value.
Nobody says I do like we do at Carter Jewelers.
Come see us and be part of our history.
I'm an insect ninja. I'm mostly self-trained in the Eastern art of battling insects, and I use a variety of weapons. Throwing stars, the nunchucks, whatever gets the job done.
There is a better way. Bengal's entire line of premium products for all your insect problems in and around the house. Bengal products really work.
Wasp. Well, sometimes there is a little collateral damage.
Ingalls Shipbuilding is hiring electricians, structural welders, machinists, ship fitters, pipe fitters, and pipe welders in our Pascagoula, Mississippi site. Signing bonuses available for pipe welders only. Positions are union represented. Come build your career with Ingalls Shipbuilding. Go to www.huntingtoningalls.com/careers or call 888-935-1507.
Yeah, I'm a roach whisperer. I've just always had a way with them. Now, roaches are stubborn, nasty insects, and sometimes you just gotta be forceful with them. Ah, roach, be gone. You're not welcome here, roach.
There is a better way. Bengal Roach Spray. No odor, no mess, no roaches. Bengal Roach Spray really works.
And if whispering don't work, I always got my backup plan.
I hope you've enjoyed the program tonight. Now, this week upcoming, we've got a few new elements that we're working on, and that's bringing the great music of Mississippi to our viewers via Nightique. Some of the great blues men of all time, of course, come from Mississippi, and we're hoping to bring some of the living great members of the blues world here to our stage and bring their music to you. So keep in mind, music on the way here on Nightique. We'll see you Monday at 10.